An 11-year-old boy named Gannon Stauch murdered the defendant, his own stepmother. Take a listen.
Jail can be all about her. Prison can be all about her.
It's the first time many in the courtroom have seen Letecia Stauch in person.
She didn't even seem to have any emotion to her.
Stauch, her 4 charges now filed in her stepson Gannon's case, which include first-degree murder and child abuse resulting in death.
Oh, I hope he gets justice. I hope she goes to prison for life, because death penalty, that would just be too easy for her.
But we're not sure if the death penalty is a possibility if she is convicted.
It's passed a bill to repeal the death penalty, and I expect that the governor will sign that, so we'll have to evaluate that as well, just the practical implications of evaluating this case for death penalty and the political aspects of what they're doing in Denver.
That's Michael Allen with the DA's office.
Every case has its challenges, but I think we've got plenty of evidence to go forward.
The defense was finally granted access to the sealed arrest affidavit, which presumably lays out the case against Stauch and why she was arrested and charged.
I'm not thinking plea right now, I'm thinking trial.
But still reminding everyone.
And she is presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
A video released by Gannon's church and his father, showing moments of the boy we've all come to know throughout his life.
This isn't somebody's true crime documentary. This is somebody's real life and real feelings, and they deserve to have this moment of peace.
His father saying he hopes the video keeps Gannon at the forefront of this case, rather than the woman accused of killing him.
And that sealed affidavit has been unsealed. Court TV has obtained a copy of it, and in it, a lot of details surrounding this case, including the evidence inside Gannon's room, lots of blood evidence. Let's bring everyone back in, and let's begin with the scene where much of this blood evidence was gathered was Gannon's own bedroom in the family home. And Seema, to me, that is a huge part of this case, because if you want to talk about abduction, somebody else did it. It had to have happened, according to prosecutors, inside that home in Colorado Springs.
That's right, Vinny. It's on page 4 of the affidavit that you mentioned, and it says even specifically that the murder took place in the afternoon hours, January 27, 2020, in his bedroom, and that there was blood everywhere on the walls, enough blood to stain his mattress through the carpet pad, and even stain the concrete below the bed. What I appreciate the most is how far our science has gone, that even when you try to clean a crime scene, you are still going to find evidence of the crime. And in this case, it was the blood. And then beyond that, you know that his remains, this is according to the forensic evidence in the affidavit, his remains were eventually brought through the house into the garage, and all of this forensically traced.
Absolutely. Let's show the folks at home some of the photos that were in this sealed affidavit. Again, they're in black and white, but it's still, this is the evidence in the case. And we'll begin with that mattress. Julie Grant, this is Gannon's mattress, blood stains on that mattress. This has to be where this crime took place.
The mattress and the forensic evidence that was gathered from Gannon's bedroom, the blood spatter on the wall that was cleaned up, the carpet pieces where the blood soaked through, the stain on the concrete, all of that is going to tell a story of a very violent death that this beautiful 11-year-old child endured. And what's worse is that after the violent killing took place, then there was the cover-up. Allegedly by Letecia Stauch, the stepmother, the one caring for the boy, the one person that this boy was trusting to take care of him at that point in time. His dad's away in the military, and stepmom's the person caring for him. And this is what happens. Investigators, I think, are going to have a field day piecing everything together, getting it ready for prosecutors to tell this story at trial. In my opinion, I think Letecia Stauch is toast.
Yep.
Ted Rollins, when you look at the charges in this case, now, March 20th, the remains were recovered, and they were recovered down in Florida. We'll talk about that on another day. But the allegations were upgraded: crime of violence, the use of a firearm, the alleged use of a knife or some other sharp instrument, and then you've got the blood in the mattress, the electrical socket as well, another place where you find that spatter of blood.
Yeah, and she had some stories that that were associated with this evidence that she came up with during this process. The problem is her story changed by the day and by the hour, and she was providing investigators with stories related to the blood evidence before the blood evidence was made public, and she shouldn't have even known about it. So this blood alone, I believe, takes her down. You know, a lot of cases you go in thinking this could go one way or another. There is so much evidence in this affidavit that it does not look good for the defense.
She better take a plea. Let's not even go to...
If it's available.
If it's right. Well, that's a good point, because in that piece that we saw, the prosecutor is thinking about the death penalty. And listen, I am 100% in this woman deserves death. I personally think when it's a crime involving a child, if it's a rape involving a child, give them the death penalty. I'm very severe when it comes to the death penalty with respect to children.
And how about the lies about being
this
raped?
case-
How about that was one of the lies that investigators say she told. First, she said little Gannon ran away, went to his friend's house to play, and then she said that someone came in and raped her and abducted him, and it's disgusting. All the lies are disgusting, and a great tool for prosecutors, Vinny.
Now, as we know, Letecia Stauch is the stepmother of Gannon. Gannon's mother and father were no longer together, but they're together now, and they were together when all of this was uncovered by police. Let's take a listen to Gannon's mom.
Gannon is with us. After the stories of people from all over the world, he's not only my hero now, he's the world's hero. So I think the community, the positive support from a state that I've never visited other than 2 or 3 times, I'm astounded by the amount of love that's not come from me. It's came from my boy. And never thought I'd be standing here. It was a nightmare. I've had to put trust in the people I don't know. Today, I got the worst news and the best news. Obviously, we know what the worst news is, but the best news is that justice will be served. And I'll make sure that justice is served, because my boy did not deserve any of this that has happened to him.
This is a horrible case, a mother who is torn up. She wasn't there. She was living in South Carolina at the time. Obviously, mom and dad weren't together anymore, and dad was raising Gannon. But the emotion you feel in this case is so strong. Seema, for prosecutors, how much pressure does that put on them? We were talking about a deal. Colorado is the governor is pushing away from the death penalty. So I don't know if they're going to seek the death penalty here. So I don't think there's going to be a deal because of the emotion that is attached to this and the nature of these charges. There's nothing to offer but life without parole.
But this is a very different case, because you say pressure on prosecutors. This pressure is personal pressure. They get invested because it is a child. It's very different than, let's say, prosecuting even a gang-related homicide or a robbery turned bad when it involves adults. When it involves a child, see this kid, okay? This kid is like the cutest thing on the planet. And the whole community is grieving, maybe even the whole state, okay? These prosecutors put it upon themselves, this dilemma, this obsession with finding justice for the family. So it's a lot of personal pressure.
And pressure on
Absolutely.
the governor, too.
I want to...
You know, that pressure can go all the way to the governor's office, because this is one of those cases where people who are kind of in the middle, which is where I am, on the death penalty, you read this one, you hear about this one, you see the video and the pictures of this child and the lies from this woman, that puts you over the edge. And now that pressure to move forward with it is very real.
Absolutely. I want you to listen to Gannon's dad, Al, because he's in a unique situation, because he is the man who, unbeknownst to him, married an alleged killer of his own son. Now, he was so broken up that he couldn't speak for himself, but he had a statement that was read by a spokesperson from the sheriff's office.
So now I'm going to read a statement from Al, Gannon's dad. In In a moment on September 29, 2008, my heart stopped as my baby boy entered this world way too early, weighing only 1 pound, 6 ounces. His infectious smile and constant laughter made an impact on every single person he's ever met. Although I miss the years when he was learning to walk, learning to talk, and he had welcomed his little sissy home from the hospital, I've been looking forward to his teenage years and the fun we had ahead of us as he became a young man. In a moment, on March 2nd, 2020, my heart stopped again with what we have heard up to this point. My little boy is not coming home. We will never play Nintendo again. No more Taco Tuesdays. No more smooth-looking haircuts. No more Big Bubba for my Lena, and no more G-Man for the world. The person who committed this heinous, horrible crime is one that I gave more to anyone else on this planet, and that is a burden that I will carry with me for a very long time.
Julie, Gannon's dad in such a terrible, terrible spot. And he's going to have to testify during this case. He believes that Letecia murdered his son, Gannon. He married her. This is going to be absolutely heart-wrenching for him to go through this trial.
No, you're absolutely right, Vinny. Heart-wrenching. That's the word. We talked a few minutes ago about the trust that Gannon had for his stepmother. And think about the trust that Al Stauch had for his partner, Letecia. I mean, to trust someone with your child, and he shouldn't feel guilty at all. This is not on him whatsoever. This is all on her for her alleged conduct, alleged by investigators in the state who put all these pieces of evidence together in that very detailed affidavit, 32 pages of lots of evidence against Letecia Stauch. And it is heartbreaking because he's going to have to testify probably to a lot of her statements, which are going to be key here, right? Because we don't have an eyewitness to this. We're going to have to rely on Letecia Stauch's own words, her own actions, and the forensic evidence that those crime scene investigators collected by processing the home, the garage, the scene where they believe the remains were first dumped in Colorado. And so I think it is going to be very tough for him to come into court and then share the text messages and all of the things and all of the stories that he told her. But he's also going to be key for the prosecution, too, because this is a woman, I like to say it, if a jury hears pants on fire, they're going to know Letecia Stauch has been telling lie after lie after lie after lie and lying to her partner, as alleged in the affidavit, Vinny.
Yeah, he becomes such an important part of this case and too broken up to speak publicly, but at some point, if this goes to trial, he's going to have to testify.